Good afternoon. I guess all these photographers are not for me, they're for you. We're very pleased and honored to host Helen Mirren, Dame Helen, one of the best known and respected actresses globally. Recently got the Academy Award for the Queen and many other awards and nominations. And I need to tell you that this is our second meeting, by the way. You don't know about the first one, uh, because I was in the audience, but literally in the audience, in the Apollo Theater
In the
or
Apollo for which play was that?
the
Oh, the audience.
audience.
Oh, for the audience.
That's just-
Really, you saw it on? That's
yeah,
great. That's
and
great. So you've seen me in action.
and
Good.
so, but I was in the audience, and now I'm with you on the stage, which
Wonderful.
is for a frustrated actor like myself is a great achievement. So I'm reveling at the at the moment. You got a lot of awards, and you've been in so many important occasions. But how do you feel about being invited to moderate the Genesis Prize? I mean, this is a something special, something different.
Yes, it certainly is. I mean, I've never been an MC before, so that's a responsibility. It's a responsibility I'm a little bit nervous about, I have to confess. A lot of long, complicated names that I'm really nervous of getting
With
wrong,
an
especially Netanyahu. I must not get that wrong. It's a sort of name I know really, really well, but in the nervousness of the moment, I'm hoping it won't come out like a sort of, fruit salad of some sort. um, anyway, no, I thought that it was such a wonderful idea. I'm a great believer in people being recognized for their positive contributions to the world. I don't think it happens enough. In my country, we have what's called the honours system, which is great, and I was honoured. I became a dame, and other people get different honours. And it's a wonderful way to say thank you to a person in my country for their contribution to their country. And I think the Genesis Award in giving recognition to people who've done so much for the Jewish people, obviously also for Israel, but in a much wider sense for the recognition of the contribution of the Jewish people throughout the whole world, I think is very, very important. And I think there are so many candidates, incidentally, for this award.
We just spoke with Itzhak Perlman, who was here,
Itzhak, who's the
and we think he is a great choice.
incredible choice. I mean, really, really wonderful. A man so full of love and life and bon ami and spirit. A fantastic choice.
You just received this morning the Jerusalem Arts Award, and which says rewarding your inspiring millions through your artistic craftsmanship and devotion to bettering the world. Does theater, do arts better the world?
Absolutely. For me, the arts are the most important part of our complicated culture. Um, from my perception of history, it's through the arts of a history of a culture of a people that you discover who they were, their finer points, the beauty of their thought, and also their universal humanity. So I feel the arts are an incredible part of our life on this planet as human beings. It's amazing. It's a sort of extraordinary miracle that people are given for example, the musical talent that Istak was given, um, uh, the, um, the talents of writers, of painters, actors as well, but much more the writers, the poets, the painters. Where does this extraordinary ability come from? It's one of the great magical elements of being a human being.
Gift of God or something.
If you believe in God, yes.
That's a different thing.
That's a different thing.
Okay, we put that aside. Okay.
But yes, absolutely. If you believe in God, it's definitely a gift from God. But it's one of the most miraculous and important parts of human existence, and therefore the support of it and the promotion of the arts to me is very, very important. And to me also as a way of communicating across a wall that is maybe very difficult to communicate across, the arts are very important. I was a part of the very first, one of the very, very early arts exchanges with the Soviet Union, when the Soviet Union was in the depths of really its repression, and they were just beginning. This was in 1968, maybe, I can't remember the exact date. Yes, very early.
And then you went to Africa as well.
Yes, I went to Africa with Peter Brook later on.
Yeah.
But this was with the RSC. I was a very young actress. I'd only been professional for 2 years. And the company was sent to Moscow as one of the very, very early arts exchanges, because there could be no political exchange. That was impossible. But an arts exchange is the first little trickle that can come.
Talking about Moscow, you have Russian roots, right?
My father was born in Russia, yes.
And you're looking to go back to find out the roots or something?
Oh, well, I did go back, and I found my sister and I went back, and we found, with the help of a research journalist, thank you journalists amongst you, because you do an amazing job very, very often, and it was thanks to an incredible research journalist in Moscow that we found the exact location where my family home had been, my father's family home.
Before the revolution or something?
Before the revolution, yes, absolutely, yes.
You once said you had a very bad memory. I saw an interview with you, but surely you want a story about an actor with a bad memory? No, I have a story.
Oh, you do? Oh, tell me. I've got many stories of actors with bad
so
memories.
I'll tell you one, you'll tell me one. So there's this old actor who keeps forgetting his lines, and he's with another actor on stage, and the telephone rings. He picks up the phone, and he forgot his line. So he says, it's for you.
I've heard
So
that
what's
story.
your story?
I've heard that particular story many times.
I know.
The story
I'm
heard,
known for telling only stories that people have.
The story I heard was the stage manager has forgotten to put the phone on the set, and the phone's going to ring in the scene, and another actor is about to walk in and knock on the door and walk in. So the stage manager says, I've forgotten something, please can you take it on and put it on the set? And he said yes, without looking at what it was. The door opens, and he's standing there with the telephone. He looks down and realizes there's a telephone in his hand, and then the telephone rings, and then he says, it's for you.
So miracles do happen.
It's the same story, yeah.
But do you remember your first visit in Israel? This was quite
Of course I do.
So
absolutely.
Tell us.
Well, I had a Jewish boyfriend at the time, Bruce Myers, who's a wonderful actor. I don't know if any of you have ever seen him work, but he's a fantastic actor. And we were boyfriend and girlfriend for quite a few years, and he'd never been to Israel, and he very much wanted to come. So we came as sort of backpackers, we came in the real old-fashioned student sort of way.
Like 67 or something?
Yeah, 67, yes. And the first place we went to, actually the first place we came to I think was Jerusalem. When we spent 3 or 4 days here in Jerusalem, which was extraordinary. And then we went to work on a kibbutz for a couple of weeks.
Picking oranges or these
No, I had
Milking
2
the cows.
jobs. I'm going to tell the story at the Genesis Awards prize, so I don't want to give too much away. But I started off working in the grapevines. Have any of you ever worked on a kibbutz? Did you have to comb the grapes? Yes. We were given a huge plastic comb, and you literally have to go and comb the grapes with your big plastic comb. Why? Well, of course, it's very sensible. What you're doing is taking off some of the grapes so the other ones can grow big. They were for dessert grapes, not for wine. So they wanted big, juicy a few
I
big
think they were
breaks.
pulling your legs. You,
I don't know. Yes,
with
maybe
this
they were.
sounds
Yes,
like
maybe I was being teased. But anyway, uh, uh, I spent a day there, and then for various reasons, I was sent to the kitchens. And there I was set on washing up all the pots and pans. So that was quite an experience. But it was a wonderful experience, I have to say. It was
right. So
fantastic.
good to have you back. Okay,
Yes.
let's open up for Q&A. Guys, wait for the working mics. And please identify yourself and ask questions with question mark, at the end.
Yeah.
Little
Dame
thing.
Helen, first of all, it doesn't look as... Sorry, Don McIntyre for The Guardian. It doesn't look as though you're going to get back home in time to vote in the referendum
No,
tomorrow.
I'm
And I
sadly
wondered,
not, no.
have you already done so by post, or have you got a proxy?
I've done by proxy, yes. Yes.
Would you like to tell us how you voted?
Tell us about our secret deal that
Yes,
wherever you defer to your spokesman.
Was no political questions was the deal. However, I will say that I vote to stay, absolutely. So that's the last political question I'll deal with.
Well, let me just try one more, which is you're obviously a very big fan of Israel, and you've said that many times before. And as you know, the Prime Minister, who you'll be seeing tomorrow, has been quite widely criticised for many things internationally, including building settlements increasingly in the West Bank, but also by a series of very most recently prominent Israeli patriots and Zionists, notably Ehud Barak, who've said some pretty apocalyptic things about where they think the Prime Minister is taking Israel.
And let's
Does this worry you, and do you want to see a change of direction?
I think that life is long and change happens. And as you remarked, it's not that I'm a fan of Israel, I'm a believer in Israel. It's a different thing. And I think this is an extraordinary country full of very, very extraordinary people that I've often had the privilege to meet. I believe in Israel. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Next.
Dame Ellen, it's not your first visit in Israel, and you played in a remake of an Israeli film, The Debt.
Yes.
We hope to see you playing in an Israeli film. Was it on a consideration or something you would consider? And which Israeli director would you have liked to work with?
Oh gosh, that's a difficult question because playing in The Debt, I felt, oh my goodness, something exciting is coming in the film industry, and it's going to be called Israeli film, because this was such a wonderful story, originally, as you know, an Israeli film, which we then remade into an English language film. But I thought it was so original, it was so relevant, and coming at it, at the story from such an original sort of angle, I suddenly thought, goodness me, there are all those extraordinarily clever people over there in Israel, and I think that we're going to see in the very near future a very, very exciting film industry, and I do believe that. I don't know the names of the latest, the greatest Israeli filmmakers, and I should, but I did feel doing that film that something was bubbling right here in Israel, and I think it's wonderful that there is now support for film here in Jerusalem, which is fantastic, and I would love to see Jerusalem become the epicenter of film in Israel. That would be a wonderful thing.
One more question.
Thank you.
One more question.
No, let's take other questions. Thank you.
Hi, Erin Viner on behalf of ILTV. If I'm not mistaken, about a week and a half ago, you addressed the Senate committee hearing about the restitution of art to Jewish heirs and families whose collections had been stolen by the Nazis. Has this always been an issue that is of interest to you, or was this just aroused during your magnificent performance of Maria Altman?
Well, it was certainly concentrated during my experience of playing Maria Altman, and I was just thinking today how sad it is that Maria Altman is no longer with us, because she would have been a wonderful candidate for the Genesis Prize.
I'm sure.
She would have been a perfect candidate, but the great woman sadly died a few years ago. But yes, in doing the film, it didn't open my eyes to the issue, but it certainly concentrated my mind and brought the importance of all of that back into the present, for want of a better word of saying it. You know, it's absolutely righteous in a way that the first generation, Maria Altman's generation, you guys know much better than I do, but couldn't deal with the enormous trauma of what had happened to them. And it only took the next generation, which is coming up now, which is why it's so important, I think, that generation should have their say. And thanks to the work of Ron Lauder and people like that, they are having their say. As I said earlier today, I think history, it's incredibly important to remember history and to bring it as forward in our brains as possible. I mean, you know, my family lost everything in the revolution. You know, we lost our lands and our art and our icons and our furniture and everything, you know, went. And I was brought up in Britain, the daughter of an immigrant. My mother was English, my father was Russian. With the thought, you know what, you can only go forward. You can't look back because it's gone. Whatever it was, it's gone. And the only way to survive is to go forward and forget all of that. So I was brought up very much with that sort of mentality. But now I feel very, very strongly, especially after playing Maria Altman and having to relive those moments, that I think it's absolutely essential that people are that their memories are returned to them, their memories, their history, their culture, not Vienna's culture. The culture of the Altman, the Maria Adela Bloch-Bauer's family. It was their culture. So anyway, I do feel
The
that
roles you
strongly.
play affect you, it seems.
Well, they have to, don't they? I mean, especially if you play someone like Maria Altman or the Queen or people.
Do you feel like a royal once in a while?
But you know, living people, you have a huge responsibility to give
Jane
them.
Tennyson.
Well, she was based on a real person, but she wasn't obviously a real person. Yes.
Next,
Anyway.
okay. We'll take a few more and then we'll let you go.
Hi, my name is Moran from Ynet. As an artist who has the stage and has the recognition, what do you have to say to other artists who are canceling their arrival to Israel because of the BDS?
Well, as I say, I think that art is an incredibly important way of communication. And I mean, I understood I can't think of the right word now. What is it? The Guardian writer, you know the word, when your artists are not allowed to go somewhere. The boycott, thank you. The boycott of South Africa. And I, as a member of Equity, British Equity, I would obey my union's requirements there. But I do believe, because artists in any country, you're punishing the artists in the country, and the artists in the country are the people you need to communicate with, and make a relationship with, and learn from, and build upon. So I absolutely don't believe in a boycott. Well, here I am.
Another
Yes.
one.
I mean, I have to say, it's our responsibility as artists to explore the totality of the picture. that's our responsibility as well. Yeah.
Okay, next.
Hi, Aaron Heller from the Associated Press. Wanted to ask you just to elaborate sort of on that a little bit more about your relationship with Israel, because you're not Jewish. It doesn't seem like you have a background here. How is it that you've created this connection to Israel from your kibbutz days to your
I don't know.
roles?
I think it's just synchronicity of some sort. You know, life is weird, isn't it? It sort of pushes you in a direction that you don't necessarily. But it definitely came from that first visit in '67, and that sort of, it was extraordinary. I learnt the meaning of the word sabra. You know, very prickly on the outside, but soft and sweet on the inside. And the Israelis of the '60s were very like that.
But you came with the boyfriend.
But I came with the boyfriend, yes. But and then you know, being in the debt, and that being an Israeli film, and actually we shot some of that in Israel. It's just a lucky, I have to say, just lucky for me, accident in my life that I've had this privilege.
One, Benjamin Tobias, ידיעות אחרונות.
Benjamin Tobias from ידיעות אחרונות. I wanted to ask you, you have been, the last year we saw you here in Israel in Eye in the Sky with the late Alan Rickman, and of course on Trumbo, which is also a political film, or a film about political theme, and The Woman in Gold. And I wanted to ask, do you feel that it's easy for women and actors, but specifically actors, to find roles like that? Because you seem politically committed in every film you do, or almost every film you do. And do you think Hollywood is also committed doing films about substance, dramas like these, like Eye in the Sky?
You know, in my world of drama, it's not that Hollywood is committed. But there are always individuals who are committed, and I want to give full credibility and respect, and you know, it's the people who create the films are much more responsible for the content than I am really as an actress. I come in to serve the script. Yes, I make my choices. I say, this is the film I want to do, or that is the film I want to do. But it's, you know, Gavin Hood, the writer-director of Eye in the Sky. It's Simon Curtis, the writer-director of Woman in Gold. John Madden, who directed The Debt. You know, those are the people that I would say I would give credit to. And there are those people in the film industry, because it is, after all, an industry full of artists. Anyway, I've completely lost myself now. Sometimes I do this. It's a geriatric moment.
Forgetting your lines.
Yeah, exactly, forgetting my lines.
Okay,
But that's basically what I want to say, which is that it's the creators. And yes, they are out there, absolutely.
Dame Helen, before we let you go, you received the highest award, which is the Academy Award, but wait till you get this.
Ooh.
And this is a honorary membership of the Jerusalem Press Club.
Wow, that's fantastic. Do you guys know what you're doing? I can get into anywhere with this. Thank you so much.
Gives you a
Thank
lot of
you.
perks, gives you a lot of perks and a lot of respect worldwide, and 25% here discount in the restaurant.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, that's great.